Go and start out with something sarcastic. But folks, I'm going to tell you something. Pay attention to what I'm about to say, because at the end of this program, at the end of this show, TK and myself, I guarantee you we're going to be going try it out for a professional football team, because I don't know about you, but I think I got another season. I'm just saying.
I'm going to have to check with the goddess on that.
Well, that's a negative. He already denied.
I doubt that I'm going to that next level just yet.
But in your mind, you are.
Well, I wanted to go Texas Wesleyan, and Mama kind of shot that down. But, I start working out with those guys on Monday just for fun. But, I know
what's going to happen. We're dudes. I know what dudes do, But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition, Battle Scars Podcast, battlescarspodcast.com. Of course, I am the emotional meatball, Rocci Stucci, alongside the great TK. This broadcast is brought to you by ByVerve.com. ByVerve.com, vitamin sprays. We got the sleep spray. You got the vitamin B12 spray for energy. You have the combination of multivitamins and zinc. You got the vitamin D or B12 spray for energy.
We got it all. We got vitamin D too.
You got vitamin D too.
Everybody's low on vitamin D. We don't get outside enough.
Yes. Vitamin D is one of the most causes why men get sick when they get older, is the lack of vitamin D. Everybody. So, folks, make sure you go to ByVerve.com. This segment is brought to you by ByVerve.com. But let's get on to how we're going to pursue our professional football career. Let's talk about that.
And who do we got in studio today? That should probably be the first thing. The Shark, baby.
First time I did it with him.
Kenny Gant. The Shark is in the house.
The Shark, Kenny Gant.
Stay out of the water.
Two-time Super Bowl champ. Yes.
All Cowboy fans from early 90s, when you heard that come on Old Texas Stadium, you knew what was down. You knew what was coming down.
It's weird because I can visualize it. I can feel it. I can feel the energy of the power of the people,
Oh, man, you guys getting me hyped now, because the energy and the other stadium's too big right now. But the intimacy of Texas Stadium was unmatched.
Oh, it's by far better than the new stadium.
Yes.
Like, I miss the old stadium.
Oh, yes.
Like 100%, I miss the old stadium. I don't miss the AstroTurf for you players.
Oh, man.
But I do miss the, like you said, the intimacy of the stadium.
I got hurt on that field.
I think everybody got banged up on that deal. I mean, even old Parcells got banged up walking around on it.
Is it the turf? Is it, we're talking about
the turf?
The turf.
Yes. Yeah.
So I played.
Well, really the concrete with a covering.
Yes, that's all it was. I played, it was just a little farm league up north of Minnesota, and all of our fields were turf. And, of course, we played midsummer where it was 80, 90, 100 degrees. So on turf, just like a Miracle League, it always gets a little bit warmer on an outdoor stadium. It was unbelievable, the amount of injuries. And I've always questioned that. If you can have so many injuries from turf, then there's a problem. We've got a situation,
There was a problem.
So how many people, throughout a year, how many people would get turf injuries?
I can't even name them. I've seen Clayton Holmes, a teammate of mine. I went down with a meniscus, and I'm just running and cut. And
nothing gives.
Right.
Yeah, nothing's going to give except your body parts.
Right.
Except your body parts. And it was rough.
Man. But, brother, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on. When TK
one of my
called
favorites.
When he got a hold of me, I was just like, pinch myself, because this is we're grateful for your time, and there's so much to cover, so much to talk about.
Yes.
I always want to go to what you're doing now with all the outreach work that you do, because it's so near and dear to us. But let's take people for a journey. Let's take people for a ride, and let's get everybody to know the Shark.
Let's go back to the beginning.
That's right.
All right, let's go to the beginning. I'm from Lakeland, Florida, down in Polk County. We got the baddest sheriff in town. But we, coming out of Kathleen High School, we had some notable guys. Ray Lewis, that's from my high school.
Okay.
We grew up about a mile apart. We had a kicker. We had a lot of athletes come out of Kathleen, but it's and then at all the schools in Florida that I wanted to go to, it was just to be honest, I didn't have the grades to be looked at even by Florida A&M or Bethune-Cookman. So forget about Miami and Florida.
Right.
So I ended up at Albany State University, so I didn't want to go. My dad was a rough guy, disciplinary, pastor. My mom was evangelist, so I wasn't able to party. So I ended up at Albany. when a coach told me that'll be the best 4 years of my life, and I couldn't believe it. I can go to school and have the best 4 years of my life. I didn't believe that, but I hated it when it was over.
Right.
It went by just that fast.
Right.
And then, kids out there that has dreams, I always dreamed of playing in the NFL. I was practicing my autograph at 8, 9 years old.
Yep.
And so it was a dream, and being dream, I didn't dream small, I dreamed big, you know, and that's one of my mottos. I dream big. When I go talk to kids at schools, I chant, you know, dream big. Start off low, dream big, and I do it 3 times, and it gets bigger and bigger. So I want them to see that hard work, and even that, even dreaming big, you have to separate yourself too from negative people. That's what I love about my parents. They didn't allow me to play with all of my African American friends, which I could have walked to practice. So they bust us out to play with all the Caucasian, and it taught me communication skills. It taught me how to just livelihood. You got to be able to communicate, and if you don't, and I think a lot of people have missed the mark on parenting to know that have the.
Well, it's 2 sides, right? Communicate and integrate.
Integrate,
Right?
yes.
Communicate, integrate.
Yes.
That we all just one people.
One people.
You know, all one love. But, you know, a lot of people try to separate all that.
Yes.
So, yeah, your parents did a phenomenal job.
That is profound.
In getting you ready
yes.
for the next level.
Absolutely. And it just showed my 55th birthday. Last year I had a party. I really don't like parties, but I had one, and some of my buddies that went to school with me, HBCU, historically black university, they said, this is unbelievable. I see white, I see Asian, African. They seen every ethnic race in that party.
Right.
They said, how do you I just say thank you, Lord, and I'd say thanks to my parents. You know,
right?
They just taught me how to.
Brother, if I can add on to that, it's you know, through my experience in radio, I was hardcore politics for a long time. I still cover current events on some things, but my approach is a lot different because something similar to what you're explaining, and that's why I want to share it, is because I've learned through my process, through my evolution of understanding, through my evolution of maturing through this process, that I was losing out on a lot of really good relationships with people.
Absolutely.
Because I became very tribal in the belief system, you know, in the societal belief system. And through that tribalism, I disconnected myself with some amazing, incredible people doing incredible things on this planet. So I choose that.
Yes.
I choose good people. I don't choose tribalism. And because of that belief, it allows me to meet people that allow us to accomplish some beautiful things.
Absolutely.
Brother, you know?
And I love it because, you know, I think we don't get to know people as a people. We don't get to hear how we feeling.
Right.
And but if you don't open yourself up to feel, they're gonna feel what they see.
Right.
If they're gonna feel negativity toward it, they just gonna be. But my wife always say I talk to everybody. I go in the grocery store, and you know, could be a white, whatever. And I'd speak, hey, how you doing? By the time she turns her out and come back, we back there cracking up, laughing, and she's like, well, who's that? I said, oh, it's my cousin. I never introduced it to you. She said, it's just not your cousin. You just always talking to people. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Right.
You know.
Man, brother, you know what I
And
noticed?
coaches.
And the coaches,
Because once Mom and Dad handed you off,
Yes,
you
the
had to have
coaches,
coaches
absolutely.
that took care of you at Albany.
Yeah, at Albany.
Right? And mentor you and help you get ready for another level.
And that's what they say. The scripture biblically saying, you know, train up a child in the way he should go. When he gets old, he will not depart from it. So going to an HBCU where there's 90% blacks, and my buddies used to tell you, man, we went to the club last night, which I very seldom went to a club. But I was talking to the only white woman in the club, and it's like, how the heck you do that? And you know, I always give praise back to the Lord and my parents for, you know, just have me that diverse.
Right. Well, it goes back to, again, education.
Yes.
Right. So like I grew up in a small community that it was only white people. Now we had right outside of our community, we had African Americans, black people, but and we were friends to a certain extent.
Correct.
But growing up, it was blacks hung out with blacks, white hung out with whites. So we never really we played sports against each other, and that's how we knew each other.
Correct.
But we never carried it on beyond that, right? And then when I got into the Air Force, is when you start your education process begins to like. I don't really understand why everybody is so separated.
Correct.
Because we are like these, we all the same people.
Yes.
And it's funny, when I got to tech school, my roommate at tech school, he could have probably started for the Cowboys middle linebacker about that time in 88. But he was a black kid from south side of Chicago who basically joined the Air Force to escape the Crips. Right.
Wow.
So what's funny is every morning in tech school, everybody's got the music blasted in the halls.
Yes.
Everybody kind of getting ready for school. And I had Led Zeppelin on my side, right? And we're in a small room, no bigger than this studio. He had DJ Easy Rock, DJ Easy. Yes, thank you. And so what happened is, he'd be like, turn his down, go like, who is that? Oh man, it's Led Zeppelin. And then all of a sudden it's like, who's that? Right? And then they're like, we're going to go, you're going with me this weekend, we're going to go out on post.
Right.
And then the relationships begin. And then, again, you go and grow, and then you realize that, again, the society will try to tell you there's a difference.
Correct.
But there's no difference.
Well,
I mean, we're all one family.
When I played on my league up north, and I think there's some profound symbolism in regards to football, the team aspect of it, because you're talking about guys. Now, when I talk about farm league, we're just talking about a bunch of rough dudes that just wanted to keep playing football, right? So we weren't disciplined to a point that we're trying to go anywhere. We just wanted to get out on the field.
Right. It was just a competition thing.
So you had all different people from all different backgrounds, whether it be gang related or all these different worlds. We all met every week at the same place.
Yes.
And when we put those pads on, we're all the same person in this team thing. So when you look at society and you want to compare it to like football, we can have differences. But if we get on that field and we all align, we're all going to be champions, even with our differences.
100%.
Yes.
There's always you can always agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
Right? Just because somebody has an opinion that you don't always agree with, that's great. But they have that right, living in the United States, to have that opinion. And great, have your opinion, and we move on. Right? We're not going to sit and slug it out and fight and be upset about or dislike somebody because of it.
Speaking of personalities, what's the difference between the atmosphere with college football and professional football? Like locker room, because NFL, you're talking professional, right?
Look, that's the worst. we little kids that we've been doing since we were little. So we don't. It's no secrets. People talk about your wives. In college, we didn't have wives, but man, you just get rolled out. You didn't have tough skin, or you had something to come back at.
Yeah, let's back up a second. So you're at Albany, you finish Albany,
yes,
and you're getting scouts and your coaches and people are like, you have an opportunity at the next level.
Yes,
you could play at the next level. So draft day comes.
Yes,
let's talk draft day.
Yeah, draft day. First, I want to say this real quick too. I know we'll cut it down, but we had a fullback, Donna Parham, which his son plays with the Chargers now, 6'8" tight end, played with the Renegade. And then when they folded, he ended up with the Chargers, 6'8" tight end. But his dad was my fullback in college, and he asked me to come. Some scouts came to see him, and a linebacker and a D tackle, and he asked me to run beside him so he can run a 40. Faster. I'll be like a guinea pig. When God has you in mind of that dream, well, I ran a 40. He said, just take off and then I'll run. So I took off. Literally, they clocked me before they clocked him, and they wanted to know where did he come from. So they went to see tape on me, and I got drafted and they didn't.
That's crazy.
So when you know the wisdom and understanding of God's plan for your life, and I wasn't a good steward over a lot of stuff God gave me, but the dream came true. But my dream is still happening when I deal with people and the things I do with autism and a whole lot of stuff.
Well, even with God, I mean, He always has plans for us, right?
Yes.
We talked about this with DOC last week that, you know, a lot of that stuff He'll give you,
Yes.
right? So you have it, and then He'll take it away because He's teaching you some other things. He's getting you ready for bigger things that are coming, right?
Absolutely.
So it's always with the good Lord, it's always you're here. That's why I try to tell people, like, you're not going to be up on top of the mountain forever. Like, you might be up there for now.
Absolutely.
But it's how you handle up here is how long you'll stay up here. Because if you start clowning, got to be like, okay, he can't handle it. Let me pull it back.
Right.
Let me humble him back out, right? Get him back focused.
Correct.
And then we'll help him reclimb, right?
Humility is the key to my life. I don't shop at stores a lot. I talked about your shoes. I'm happy when I buy me a pair of shoes, but I'm a thrift store junkie.
Oh, Marshalls and TJ Maxx, and you know, I don't pay anything full price for much except my suits.
Is Marshalls and TJ Maxx thrift store?
No, it's a discount for sure. I mean, but it's not like going to a mall paying full price
You
for everything.
emotionally struck my soul a little bit. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, I'm going to this one store. I'm going to a thrift store apparently, but you know.
Yeah, I go to straight up thrift stores, and I just at one point I actually got a suit when my life turned upside down, you know, through the ups and up. And trust me, everybody like to blame stuff on the devil and the enemy. It was the decisions I made,
right,
that got me where I was at, and I think that's what I live with now. You know, I live with the decisions I made, and I live a more peaceful life. When I had a whole lot of money in the bank and in a previous marriage, I thought I had it all, and now I don't have the big lump sum. I ain't saying it's not coming,
right?
But I don't have all that money in the bank, and I'm just as happy. And I gained the most weight with nothing. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, it's interesting how that happens.
I said this to TK a few months back in regards to what you just referenced is that through my process of life, I ran out of people to blame for everything that went wrong in my life, and then I started blaming him, and then that didn't work well for me either.
Right.
And then the realization came that one day I stood in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror to realize that all my wrongdoings in life, I was looking at the person responsible for it right there, and that was the toughest pill for me to swallow, brother.
Yes.
That self accountability thing, it can be a bear to accept sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know,
it's rough. And you know, my favorite entertainer was Michael Jackson. So you know, through all the whatever he went through, but the song that really just helped me was that, you know, you look at that man in the mirror. So if you want to make a change,
it starts with that guy.
You start with that one. And I never even thought about that song until I was in mess.
Right.
And just like, dude, this dude he's way ahead of his time to sing that song. And I was just sitting there like, hey, it's me. Right. I decided to do this. I decided to do that. I decided to do that. I went and bought these cars, and I should have just kept my other old car. I just want to get from, you know.
Well, let's go back to how those things happen.
Yes.
So you go from college.
Yes.
You're probably not having a lot of money to do much with, like
Correct.
most college students. You get drafted in the 9th round.
Yes.
Like you said, it came down. You got 49ers on one line, and all of a sudden Cowboys call and say, we're going to take you in first draft pick of the 9th round.
Yeah, the first pick. Cowboys had the first pick in the 9th, and the 49ers had me on the phone. They had the last pick in the 9th round, and so I ended up got them on hold, and the Cowboys called, and then
49ers, I want to get back to you. Click. Pay attention to your TV set. Good luck to you guys. I'll see you soon.
Think of the stress, though. If you said to the Cowboys, just hold off because I may have a prior commitment because I'm going to stick to my word, and then you got to wait the very last one.
Which could have changed over 30 picks,
well,
32 picks.
HBCU, that's the first time I ever been cursed at. So those coaches said, blah, blah, blah.
49ers did? The 49er coaches did?
No, my college coaches.
Oh, when you had to go.
HBCU.
Yeah.
Those, when I first stepped on, First time I ever
Oh yeah,
been
yeah,
cursed
yeah.
at,
Okay,
you know.
when you went to play for him.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
and they always tell the parents like, "Don't worry,
Yeah,
we
I
don't cuss." The minute it's like showing up at boot camp because I don't know a coach that honestly
Yeah,
doesn't cuss.
correct.
Right? Honestly,
well, it
they
was
all say
one.
they don't.
Coach Ford was the tight
Okay.
end coach with the Dallas Cowboys. I never laughed so much as said, "Oh, chicken feathers." You know, he was
That was his cursing.
he
Chicken
was yeah,
feathers.
that was, and I think that hurt him.
Yeah.
to say that, but those coaches blasted me because
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, I got San Francisco on the line," and it's, whatever they were saying, it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to hang up the phone, then talk to. So I talked to Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Mays, all within 3 minutes.
Wow.
So I was. Then you get to go through. Now I'm the jokester on the team,
Right.
and now I come out. They said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I'm a Dallas Cowboy." They said, "Oh man, this is how he said he's kidding around." So I made it down to my truck to leave. I told two guys where I was going, and by the time my name went across the TV screen, here come everybody running out. But I was driving off, so it was surreal. And I told my mom I was the jokes at home too, so my mom didn't really believe it. I called my mom and said, "Hey, I'm a Dallas Cowboy." "You kidding me?" "No, don't play. Don't play." It took about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
"No, don't. Are you kidding me? Stop playing."
Right.
"Really?"
Right.
No. I'm talking about 5 minutes
Right.
to convince them. Then today,
Did your mom want you to go to San Fran?
no, she didn't.
She didn't care. Just
she
wanted to go to
didn't
the
care.
NFL.
She's
It's just the opportunity to go play at the
it was
NFL.
a
She was
dream.
excited.
I
She
made it,
knew-
Mom. I made it.
I made it.
She thought he was joking.
And
The
she
fact
thought
that
I
he
was joking.
What did it feel
going to
like,
the NFL.
brother? What did it feel like? Because there's something about me that has this drive that there's. When I put my parents through
Yes.
a lot in life, there's certain things that I do that their acceptance of it really means a lot to me.
Yes.
How did it feel, brother, when you got a hold of your mom? Because I'm the prankster too, dude. I am like the biggest pain in my family's ass. I'm telling you right now. They never know if it's real or not coming out of my mouth.
Correct.
So what was it like to be able to tell your mom, I made it? You know?
It felt so. It's surreal. It's still because I probably sound like I was telling a joke, but it wasn't a surprise to me because this is what I have dreamed.
Yeah, man.
It was a surprise to me that it was the Dallas Cowboys because I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan in Florida and staying 30 minutes from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. So that was, but I was a Lynn Swann fan. And then when I got to college coach sent me to defensive back. So it was a lot of things going and moving parts.
So you came to school as a receiver and then got moved to DB in school.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's, that's why I always say, man, God's got a plan for your life. It just, I don't usually know everything about my life, but somebody else may. It's all about us accepting criticism, accepting a new challenge. So I took it as a challenge. I said, well, I'm going to be the best DB I can. And then I was a starting freshman, and the guy that I was supposed to be backing up, he ended up leaving school and quitting because a freshman came in and beat him out. But I didn't like him because he left school because I just love everybody, man.
Right.
It was bad.
Well, and the other thing is too. So you come to Cowboys, but they weren't Super Bowl champs yet
No,
when you came,
no.
and you came in with somebody kind of special in your class too.
Oh yeah. So we had one of the best drafts that year. They had me, then they had Emmett. Emmett and I were roommates. Stayed in the hotel together when they first brought us in for mini camp. And I remember him asking me, "Hey man, you want to get something to eat? I'm hungry." I said, because I know what I had in my pocket,
Right.
and I don't know what he had in his pocket. And but then he said, "No man, I got you." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna get a burger. You want one?" I said, "Yeah." Then he pulled his money out. He put a stack out of one pocket.
Said, "Dang, you get paid already?"
Then I'm like,
I'll take a New York
what
strip.
are these?
Yeah.
I said, and put some cheese on it.
Yeah,
too,
get
and
me
some
2
bacon.
burgers
Yeah,
and some fries.
And but I had a roll of quarters so I could call back and talk to my girlfriend.
Right.
That's all I had, a roll of quarters, and didn't know I can call from the hotel room because I had never flew on a plane until I came to Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't realize like I can use this phone anytime I want to call
Right.
somebody.
It was crazy.
Cowboys got under control.
I was scared to even use it.
Yeah, you're up there like click.
I'm going
click,
downstairs
click.
and go to the payphone, and put quarters in there. Didn't think I can call from the room.
Yeah, nice enough. Didn't even call collect. You still putting quarters in for your girlfriend. That's
Yeah,
nice.
It was crazy.
Me and Rocky probably would have called collect.
I've many collect.
I literally would have been like, "Hey, girl,
Many
you want to
collect
talk to
calls
me?
for
I'm going to have to call. I'm going to have to call
Yeah.
collect."
Yep. But what'd you do? Throw the quarters? Casino right down the street, baby. I had to go. I felt
One
good.
of the, other interesting things about coming to Dallas that my mom was really proud of, and she's 80. She just turned 81, and she still talks about how Jimmy Johnson called her and said how respectful that I was. She said he was the only one got off that bus and yes sir, yes ma'am. That's
raised right.
I'm just blessed, man. Just to
It's just
to
being
have the
raised
parents
right.
I got, you know.
Well, that's the good Lord again. So he got you in.
Yes.
He got you in Cowboys,
Yes.
and then it wasn't. So your rookie year, you guys didn't go to Super Bowl. It was your second year, third year that you were playing the Cowboys that you went to Super Bowl.
Correct.
And then the dynasty happened.
Then it happened, and it's interesting to the fact that I never had my first drink or said my first cuss word until I signed with the Cowboys. So that was weird. And then we'll get into what happened. But
Well, we talked, and again, some of the people we even you and I've been around
Yes.
with. Rocky's coming around, getting to know, and people he's been around with. But like, DLC and I were talking.
yes,
Okay, so you're 18, 19 years old, going from living on your sister's couch
Yes.
to being around NWA, Dr. Dre, and all. And it wasn't Dr. Dre wasn't really the Dr. Dre as today, but it's
correct.
Dr. Dre and
Absolutely.
Eazy-E, and that group just blew up with their first album.
Right.
And you might not be making money, but the excess of anything you want,
Correct.
alcohol, drugs, women, going to parties, clubs, whatever you want,
Yes.
the excess is available.
correct.
And that's where you kind of, without paying attention,
Yes.
can get sucked in real quick. Right.
And that's what happened. I got sucked right in and, end up, the taste of alcohol. I hadn't been with many women. And it was just abundance.
I say this, and I say it respectfully.
Yes.
But that lifestyle can be very attractive. And I say this in a form of people trying to understand that when you go from working hard to get somewhere,
Correct.
and you're very disciplined life,
Yes.
right? And then all of a sudden you make it to the NFL, and now you're getting a taste.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting a taste of the fun, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well, people think that's
dangerous.
fun.
It's
Right. And you haven't have look back, and we've all gone through where you're like, ooh, that probably wasn't as much. I was blessed to actually even get through that period of my life.
absolutely.
Alive or not in prison or anything
Yes.
else, to make it to where we are today. But the thing is, again, when you talk about the devil working,
Yes.
right,
Right.
is one of those 7 deadliest sins called vanity,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? So what happens is, all of a sudden, I can walk into this restaurant
Yeah.
and I'm eating free. Like I remember Papa's Steakhouse with someone just still to this day, even walking in with some friends,
Yes.
and they're like, "We got you."
Yeah.
And it's not like whatever you want, we got you.
Tony Romo's.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, that was y'all's back in the day?
They gave us a card that we can come in there with their family and just anything we wanted. And it was great. But, that man in the mirror was rough on me. And I'm telling you, dude, I'm blessed to be here, bro.
Do you think?
I'm just telling you.
Do you think, with the referencing to the man of the, I mean, sometimes it's hard to justify what we go through. It's hard for me to swallow the pill that God wanted me to go through that. He really wanted me to go through that pain, right? But that's the selfish, egotistical, narcissistic mentality, right? That it can't be me, right?
Yes.
That journey. Would you be who you are today without any of those battle scars?
It'd be hard to be remiss to think I would be, because I'll be somebody that I wasn't. And because even the decisions I made, because I was getting ready to make another decision in the midst of the divorce, not playing football and now I'm back to square one again, and now I'm in the middle of some parking lot with a 12-pack of Heineken, with a fifth of Tanqueray gin, trying to get drunk enough to pull the trigger of my Glock 19, and until you hear the still voice of God, that's when I learned how to hear his voice. He said, "Son, put the gun down." And I was looking all over the truck trying to figure out what, and that's what saved my life, man. And it's and I just cried like a baby, and we're to the point where now, what do? I can't do football. I can't. It's not here. But I tried some other little leagues. But man, the only thing that satisfied me is a scripture in Philippians. I think it's 2, 3, and 4. It says, "Esteem others' needs greater than your own," and that one sticks with me because the more I give to people, the more at peace I am, and I don't think I'd have been that person,
right?
Still doing the same things.
I feel you on the more you give, brother. I felt
the other thing is too, a lot of people don't understand because again, I've been around pro athletes and celebrities for 23 years, and I've heard behind the scenes stories that I can't even tell on air. From individuals telling me things that they just need to get off their chest sometimes. But the thing is, when you come into that environment, there's things that you're kind of like, man, this ain't really me.
Yes.
But the peer pressure of this is how we're supposed to be because we're here.
Yeah.
And so we have a certain way we should be, we're supposed to be out there partying. We're supposed to be doing this.
Yes.
We're supposed to be doing that.
Right.
We're supposed to be, even though your inner self is like, man, I'm not really liking where we're going, but you're kind of like stuck in the pack.
Yes.
Right. You don't want to be that guy who diverts and go, well, I'm not going to be that guy.
Right.
Because then everybody else be like, what? What was going on with the shark, right? So you kind of get stuck sometimes in that, and you don't have to be playing professional sports.
Yes.
You could be a high school kid, college kid, whatever, in your own career that you just feel like, hey, this is not me. And my response to whoever might be listening that is stuck in that, that just get out of that pack right now. Just get out of it. Don't worry about what you might think would be consequences of losing friends. I would rather lose friends that are going to take me down that dark hole than not to lose.
Sometimes the friends we're afraid to lose are the ones that we should have lost a long
They're
time
the ones
ago.
who will run you right off a cliff.
That's right.
And it's interesting that I had the mentality to not to follow the peer pressure because I'm 55 now, I'll be 56 next month, and I've never been in a fist fight.
Right.
So every time somebody say "what" real loud, I was already gone.
Right.
They say, "Man, you standing right beside me. Where'd you go?"
Right.
I was sitting in front of the dorm.
Right.
I wasn't getting hit for nobody.
Right.
Or nothing like that. But then I get into this sexual perversion period of my life where I just have to be real, with the audience because you deserve it. Because I might be helping somebody. I hope. I've been in a room with 3 ladies and 2 of us guys, and things are happening, and you get hit with a horse whip. You don't know where this coming from. He's like, what was that? And you still trying to get your feeling back, and now you taking the whip and hit back with it, and my mind was so weak at the time, and like I said, I don't have, people do what they do. I don't have an alternative lifestyle, but at the moment, if one of those girls would have said, "Well, you try, you try," I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I would have tried. Just try something different. I was just that messed up.
Well, and again, a lot of people don't realize how quick you can get off track.
Yeah,
it's hard to get on track.
Right.
It's quick and that, like even with me, when you're working out every day, it's hard to stay disciplined to get up every morning, go do your workout. It's even more harder for me not to eat chocolate.
Hey, did you know? Did you know that he goes and gets his toes done at the salon?
Look at here.
Oh God,
yeah, baby. He does it. I'm trying to teach Rocci
one of the things I've learned in this process of life, and my wife talks about it a lot. Self-love.
Yeah.
And I go to the salon and I get my nails once a month.
We're going. We're going to live stream it. I'm going because I'm really ticklish.
I tell him, one of the things is the reason why I would always take Jessica because she like I gotta get my nails done before we do all these errands or before we go here or go there. So I would always just sit in the car, and probably usually through social media or something while I'm waiting on her for the hour. And one day she was like, "Hey, why don't you come in? And get your toes done?" I'm like, "It's not happening." And she's like, "No, babe, just come on in." But then really what happened more so was the fact that it was just a time that her and I got to spend.
Yes.
Because we weren't on a phone or anything. We were just having a good conversation. The young ladies that always take care of us, we're always having conversation with them, and they're great. But it was just mom and dad time.
Yes.
And so that's really when she's like, "Hey, do you want to go with me, go get your nails done?" It's like, okay. And then what people don't realize is, what you've always learned too as an athlete or military is you always got to take care of your feet.
You got to take care of your feet.
Always got to take care of your feet. And, not just getting your nails done, but the rub that they get on your lower leg and your foot. I mean, you're walking out there like, oh my God. And then even when they do your hands, like you said, and then I always have, again, I like it too because they always have a little glass champagne. So I'm just like chillaxing, and you're in the big. You're in the big massage chair. I mean, you're getting a massage as
I'm going under one condition.
They pamper you.
You got to come with.
Get pampered.
And then I'm going under one condition that after we go have our nails done, we're all going to go to indoor skydiving, put on the super tight tights, and we're all going to indoor skydive together.
Probably not, but we'll try it. I'll do anything for a laugh for the people out there.
Yes.
Hey, folks, we have Kenny Gant on the program. The Shark, two-time Super Bowl champion, battlescarspodcast.com. This segment right here brought to you by Romika Designs, the great producer of the program, Ron Phillips, owner, operator of the program, RomikaDesigns.com. Anything, everything, laser custom engraved, RomikaDesigns.com.
And one thing, too, real quick, just so everybody out there knows, this studio is not even supposed to be up and running yet. So we still have a lot of stuff to do. One thing that disappoints me right now, because we were talking about it before the show, is that we don't have Ron set up yet with his camera in there that he can actually talk to us. And we can see his face sometimes when he's squinting or shaking his head. Yeah, but we can't see
but
you.
You can't see me.
There's a lot of sexiness going on over there.
There is a lot of sexiness. Just for those people who are listening, a lot of sexiness.
A lot of sexiness, a lot of work behind the scenes going on up there.
What?
We're going to have to let them judge for themselves here.
Yeah, and I got a buddy over there, Oscar.
Oscar's in the house too.
He's just.
Yeah, I think Ron was referring to the sexy over there.
He thinks he's sexy.
Oscar is sexy, and Oscar is like, man, y'all's place straight up in the hood over here. Like, we're pretty close, bro.
That's right. Oscar
close.
and I have the market on sexiness right this moment.
I got chills right now. It's the weirdest thing.
So getting back to the show, the one thing that I think most people, they always have heard the Shark.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know how that even got started or how Kenny Gant became the Shark. And then from that, I mean, then you got Texas Stadium playing Joel's theme when you're coming out. I mean, let's talk about that because that was so much fun during the 90s when you guys were winning and that was going on. And
well, I'm going to tell you what happened. It's a blessing in disguise. Actually, Kevin Smith, they came up with this thing in Texas A&M, those Aggies. And we used to do it in practice, when we do scout team, trying to Micah Irvin say nobody never stopped him in practice. But
Big 8-8, represent my boy today.
He always say, "When'd you stop me? We've knocked balls down, Mike." But he don't come to grips with it. He's always competitive. But anyway, and we used to say the Sharks are coming out. It was really a practice thing. We used to do it in practice against Mike and them, the first team, just lining up as the other team. And I guess one game I was probably spazzed out and not knowing, because I really didn't used to hear the crowd until I really hit somebody.
Right.
And for about could have been 2 minutes or so, then I heard the crowd. It was weird. I was zoned out. And so after the game, one of the reporters was asking me, "Hey man, what was this little thing you was doing every time you hit somebody today? You was," and I really didn't know what he was talking about because we didn't do it in the game.
Right.
And so I said, I ain't bring the shark fin out, did I? I just showed him what I did. I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Yeah, that was it." So the next day in the newspaper, It was Kenny Gant and
The shark.
going on this this playoff run. He come out with the new shark dance, and I'm like,
So you got concussed, probably.
Right.
You got your bell rung, what we called it back in them days.
Yeah.
And wasn't even paying. You just
I just wasn't even paying attention. And
normal day, and you just wake back up, and you don't even realize you were out there doing the shark.
Yeah, and interested in that, and I just ever since then, a lot of the players from A&M, they say, "Man, we did." I said, "I know, but they've labored me with it now." So I just became the shark, but I always give Texas A&M and the defensive backs back in the day.
Because you and Pup, you all started off on special teams.
Oh, yeah.
When you all came in, you were special teamers first, killing people.
Man,
You guys were smoking people back then.
I didn't want to go back home.
Yeah.
By all means necessary. And I would have did it in practice,
Right.
which I came very
Right.
close, but Jimmy Johnson had a track record of cutting people, so I couldn't hurt my teammates.
Right. Right.
There's a lot of injuries in special teams. I got messed up in special
Teams is where most of them go get their bell runs.
So I got my, I know we was in San Diego, down in, I know that, but what I don't remember, I remember taking off, going on a kickoff, and then what I remember after that was we was on the plane. I don't know how I got dressed. I don't know if I took a shower. I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, I've had probably at least six I know concussions myself, and I know
That explains a lot.
even from myself that again, like we were playing. My first concussion was my junior year in high school.
Yeah.
And we were playing our first state playoff game ever. First time my high school had ever gone to state.
Yeah.
And it was like 14-degree weather, St. Louis. I mean, it was freezing out. We all thought we were going to be tough, these country kids, no sleeves. We're coming out hardcore, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't have the equipment nowadays that we do, or back then we do nowadays. And we had the old bike helmets. We had just got those air helmets. And what we didn't realize, you had to keep them aired up.
Yes.
Right? So there's probably no air in it. Anyway, I can remember the linebacker stunting. I came up, blocked him. I don't remember nothing else until right before halftime walking off. And a coach grabbed me and was talking to me, and I kind of woke up and looked up at the scoreboard.
Yes.
And we were already down, but that was the first time that was like, man, what happened? But then they started coming pretty quick from then on. And even going back to Texas Field, all the concussions Troy had, that actually ultimately ended up his career. It wasn't Troy running, it's Troy's head slamming the back of the concrete, basically the turf.
Yes.
When he's getting tackled and that head's popping or the neck, because even the flexibility will cause the concussion. It don't have to actually be a hit.
Right.
I've had pro baseball players telling me from the outfield how many concussions they've had, and you're like, what? And it's from hitting the wall, or when they're diving for a ball and their neck pops, that they wake up in the locker room, like you said, going, I went 4 for 4, what? What happened? I don't even remember batting.
Right.
And it's just crazy how the brain works. And again, it's such and it doesn't really matter whether it's football or a lot of people think that, football is the most dangerous sport, but really gymnastics and cheerleading are the most dangerous. Right. Then soccer, men and women's soccer, because there's no headgear, you bumping heads all the time. Correct. Then actually hockey and football are in that line. So I mean, where most people think it's this, if you're active, you probably go get a chance at you're going to take it. Now basketball, same thing. But again, so you're out there, the Sharks coming alive. You guys are winning. Yes. You win 2 Super Bowls. After you won your second Super Bowl, then you went free agency, correct?
Well, I played Barry Switzer's first year.
Okay, so you won 2 Super Bowls. You went Barry, and then you went free. The year they won their third one.
Yeah, I was free agent that
year,
so I didn't get.
And where did you go from there?
Tampa. Went home. Sam Weiss, God bless him, but he was it's a big difference from Dallas.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my other point. So one thing you and I've talked about, and I've talked about with a lot of the Cowboys from the 90s on success, and it just doesn't go with sports. It goes with life, corporate world the whole time. When people call me and they're struggling, and I'll tell them, are you having fun?
Yes.
And they're like, I'm not having fun.
Right.
And I'm like, you better get to having some fun.
Yes.
Because when you're not having fun, your mentality, usually drifts off into a negative place.
Absolutely.
And it's very hard to get out of that. So you look at the Cowboys, like you say, you all do the shark. You're having fun. It was brotherhood. It was family. Like you all were hanging out all the time. And so the love of the community of, man, I got my brother's back. We're playing. Plus it's fun when you're winning.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then you go to Tampa and you're like, oh, man, like it's almost not even worth the money.
What
happened? Right?
And it was totally different. Half our weight room was outside at the time. Sam White would literally, in the middle of practice, if the practice wasn't going the way he wanted, start the whole practice over in the middle of practice. No, not just play. Calisthenics. I'm like, this is little league stuff. You know, it was bad.
Where Jimmy just cut you.
Jimmy just cut you.
Jimmy just be like,
he just look.
Well, Jimmy's real good. He understood the psychology.
Yes.
I think Jimmy had a degree in psychology.
I think he does.
And Jimmy understands psychology. And I learned from Jimmy. I copy people.
Yes.
There's no reason to try to refigure the wheel, right? So when I was in the corporate world and had hundreds of people underneath me, when your production starts dropping, go in and fire half your bottom staff. Go drop about 10, 15 people. You know, you got 100 people with you, drop about 15 of them. These other ones, they'll get 10, you'll get everybody's attention. Production will go back up overnight.
Quick.
Go get rid of your dead weight, and everybody else starts paying attention, right? Yeah. And that's what Coach used to do. He'd be like, we're dragging in practice, or we're doing this,
well,
or
look at how you reference special teams.
Yes,
playing special teams because Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he liked every asset of the game, and he was involved with every asset of the game. And he there was no room for error. And some people told me literally that I was one of the. He had a couple of guys on the team that they can do. He'll listen to, and Jimmy Johnson had me in a place where I was uncomfortable. So only thing that was different between him and my dad. My dad was about 6'2" and black, and Jimmy was about 5'10", I
think 5'8", maybe,
and white.
Very structured though, and his temperament reminded me of my dad. But one thing I knew, Jimmy, I knew he loved me, and
it's like anything. There's consequences for mistakes.
Correct.
Right? Where nowadays you don't really have a lot of that
that's
coaching.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? You're like, you knew with your dad, if I messed up, I know what I'm getting.
It's going down.
I know with Jimmy Johnson, if I mess up, I know what I'm getting. So my goal is not to mess up with my dad. My goal is not to mess up for Jimmy.
Right.
And
stay in line, do my job.
And here's the thing about messing up. It can't be the same mistake.
Right.
That's like life.
You can get away with one.
Yes. So in life, I was making the same mistake and making same decisions, and I think that's where a lot of people you don't get out of one relationship and then go find somebody that's act the same way. You just go. It don't make sense.
It's like Groundhog.
And that's what make that used to eat Coach Johnson up more than anything.
Well, it's almost like taking the easy way.
Right. Yeah,
it's so easy to get divorced. Right. It's hard to make your marriage work.
Right.
To be a good dad or a good mom, or it's hard to actually be that person. Right. I mean, it's so much easier to go. You know what? This just ain't working out. Right. Let's just get divorced and move on. Because that's kind of, again, what society just says, get divorced, go your separate ways. It's very hard to actually just stay in a fight long enough to keep staying in to the point where you're like, okay, we got this worked out. We're going to communicate, whatever the problem might be, right? Same thing, whether it's a career, like you said, if you're running with the wrong crowd.
Yes.
You keep waking up doing the wrong things. At some point, you got to go, maybe I need to start not only take a look at me, but who am I associated with?
That part.
Right? Because this is also what is causing me to be me.
Absolutely.
Right. And again, change is hard for anybody to walk away and go, you know what, I need to fix myself. I've done it, I don't know how many times, to the point where, probably over the last 20 years, like, I'm going to just make sure I fix this the first time.
Right.
Right. And there's still things that's going to happen out of your control.
Absolutely.
And again, if you handle it with the positive, right, and you stay focused on the positive of it's just today.
Yes.
Right. It's not lifelong right now. It's just a today thing. People call me all the time, they're beat up. And again, I go through the same thing everybody else does. And I have to catch myself to go, hold on, where's my mindset?
Yeah,
Where am I at?
There we go.
Right. So let me change course, or let me go do something that's going to get me in a good mindset. Whatever it is, could be watching a movie, could be go grabbing a workout, could be anything. Just stop right now. Let me shift gears.
Yes.
And go get refocused.
Right.
And come back. Right. I've even got into meditation.
Yes.
Focusing on that, more prayer work. That's what I tell, so your thing is dream big.
Yes.
My thing is always telling people dream big, but pray bigger.
Oh, there we go. I
Right.
like that.
Dream big,
I'm
but
going to
pray
jump
bigger.
in really quick. We got about 10 minutes left. Folks that are watching, thank you first for one and foremost. Thank you so much for being here. We have Brother Kenny Gant, the Shark, a former Dallas Cowboy, 2-time Super Bowl champion with us here on Battle Scars Podcast, battlescarspodcast.com. I got to get to this, brother, because I love talking sports and I love the whole community, but there's something even more near and dear to our hearts, and that is the outreach work that we all do within these special needs communities and other communities. I got to make sure we talk about this, brother. And what are you doing? You work a lot with the autistic community, which my kids are autistic.
Correct.
So when I saw that, I was just like, thank you. Tell everybody your outreach work that you do.
Well, I do a lot. So autism, I just lend a hand where I can. But my main focus is on the domestic violence community, which that's not just women, it's men as well. And where you go to the shark.org, and I have a golf tournament coming up on May 8th over at Hackleberry Creek in Irving.
It's on a Monday.
And it's on a Monday. And it's going to be fun.
A lot of celebrities will be there.
A lot of celebrities. I think got some of the cheerleaders on board from the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. But a lot of people, and I'm almost sure. I'm trying to, with some help and donations, hopefully give away. I've given away 3 cars in Florida to some single women, but hopefully I can make this work in the next 7 weeks, that I can get not a brand new car, but a used car that I can give away to some deserving women.
We'll help you at that.
I was
got
just
some
going to
people.
say, how could there not be somebody out there right now?
I've got some
Lisa
dealerships
and I
that we
did
can
it.
call.
There's a lady 15 years ago went through a terrible situation.
Yes.
And we had a car. We weren't using it. And
Right.
it's just like, I was
That's
so
what I'm saying.
heartbroken. She had kids and everything. If there has to be somebody out there to help
Oh,
us out, man.
we'll get some people for that.
And then I need the help also, because I don't know I know somebody needs a vehicle. That's a woman that's been battered. And the reason I do it, because I had a sister that shot 4 times right in front of my nephew. He's never been the same. He's a good kid, but he's 40 years old now, and he's
That's tough.
It's
to,
tough, man.
from something like that.
Seen his mom shot when he was 5 years old. Rough day. I had just got drafted by the Cowboys, and I got the call because I just had told her I made the team, so when I get my first check, I'm gonna come home and throw all that old furniture, because I used to stay over there with her at times when I come home and do my dirt. And I said, I get my first check, so she never made it to my first check, man. And it oh boy, it's the closest we were. She actually was my sister-in-law. She was married to my brother, but she stayed with us because my brother was in all kind of stuff. So she stayed with us, and that was one of the hardest things I had to tell Jimmy Johnson, that I got to go as a rookie, trying to make the team. I had made a team, and he said, "Do what you got to do." And one of the most class things that ever happened, man, the Cowboys sent a star wreath there. It's just beautiful service, but
that's the one thing people say about Jerry Jones and the Jones family.
Yes,
but if you got a star on,
absolutely,
you family for life. You Cowboy
life.
family for life.
Yes, you.
I mean, the Jones family is unbelievable in what they do to take care of their
and
players and their families.
And I love them. And I do a lot of work, community work with them, with the Salvation Army, and I just visited. I know it's dear to you guys. A couple of weeks ago, I visited 3. The
Miracle Leagues?
veteran hospitals.
So, the VAs.
With the VAs, with the cheerleaders, and I went up and visited them. That's why I do a lot of, and I do a lot of that through the Cowboy organization.
And we're going to I'll help you with your golf. We talked about that a little bit on what you need. And then the other thing people might not know is Kenny has played in every one of the celebrity games.
Yes.
And brought his grandchild out, which was fun.
Josiah
Was having a blast out there. And your wife came to the Friday night. She's such a sweetheart.
Is it Josiah Gant?
He's no, okay. Josiah. Hey, we're going to see you this November. Josiah, we're going to have a special.
Oh, he going to be there.
He like the wrestler.
Chaz.
Joe Chaz.
Yeah, everybody loves Chaz.
He kind of scares me. He kind of scares me a little bit. There's
Chaz and T-Ron, I mean,
Oh,
because when you're out there, little kids
T-Ron.
especially, they don't always know who the players are, right? Everybody's got a jersey. They know there's somebody.
Yeah.
But the guys carrying a belt,
The big grizzly.
they're next level when they're carrying their championship belt around with them, right? And all the little kids are like, you could have Michael Irvin standing there and Chaz standing, and that kid's going, "Hey, Chaz, let me get your autograph," right? So it's so much. I mean, Michael Irvin, we've had so many great people to play in this game as well.
And man, and I do a lot of. I'm trying to bring with my church. I try to bring all these communities together too, because I do now. All I do in the community, I'm trying to bring it to my church, where Dr. Russell Lewis and his wife, Dr. Keisha Lewis at Ultimate Life Church in Denton. So now all this, hopefully, I get a chance to bring that to the church. I'm that dude that want to help somebody. I fight for the underdog, man, and
well, that's what this show is, right?
Yes.
It's the underdog. Right? You've always been an underdog at some point.
I pray for your kids, man, and all the kids out there that fight autism. I got it in my Bible. A lot of people don't believe in the prophetic. People can speak prophetically, but I got in my Bible that this year's coming up, there's going to be prophets that's dealing with autism that's going to be speaking life into people that when they think they can't articulate, but God going to give them a word in their stomach, and they're going to be prophetic people that's going to speak God's word. And I've got it written down where I spoke that, and I believe that's I believe you have one of those prophets in your house, Rocco, and I just pray. I thank you guys for this opportunity, man, just to get some of it out.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you did. And really, just so you know, like Rocci was telling you, well, he's and he just came to Christ a few months ago.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Bro, yeah, so he, fighting it. And
I got to say, I'm going to interrupt you. You saved me.
Amen.
And I'm going to say this. To be able to sit at this table with Ron in the booth and TK, these are the two guys why I moved down here.
Amen.
And things kind of went awry when I first got here.
Yes.
And I didn't realize how much I was running from. But this is our fourth show. He introduced me to Miracle League.
Yes.
So I get to be with these beautiful angels every weekend now.
Amen.
But every person we've sat with so far, brother, what they've done in their past is beautiful.
Yes.
But the outreach work that everybody's doing, it's just this community, this circle that we have, brother, I am so humbled and so honored, man. Sometimes I don't feel worthy because I still have scars.
Yeah.
But to sit with you and have Ron, I am.
Amen.
Well, and that's the best thing about celebrity games, right?
Yes.
And when we talk about with Doc and even Donnie Graves, who's here, who loves to sing the national anthem, World War II, hero, and that everybody loves, right? But what's funny is, we probably had 150 people, it seems like, on that field last year. That was a kind of like, you can play this year, right? It's going to be narrowed down this year, but the thing is that no matter what, like, you have different religions, different races, different political viewpoints, all the above from all those people there, and you wouldn't know not one of it because the whole weekend's just all love.
Oh, it's
everybody's having the best time. Everybody's hanging out with everybody. So many, even one thing that always bothered me about the NFL and even the Cowboys, Everson Walls and I were talking about this one time, and he didn't know, like Patrick Creighton and Rome, that era, he didn't know any of those guys.
Right.
And I'm like, how do you not? He goes, I've never met those guys. And it always like, man, where's the mentoring? that these older players can get in and start working with these younger players. So like you and Evan Oglesby, we were talking about how close you guys have become,
man, that's
right?
my dude, man.
And EO's one of the best. And it's like, man, you know how many more issues we could help with or probably stop before they get to that point? If we could get some of our older guys who's been through it, done it with these younger guys to help them where they don't make some of the same mistakes. Like, here's what's coming. Be vigilant of what's coming down for you now at this point. Pay attention. And, you know, and help these young guys. And I think the Cowboys have gotten a little bit better on doing some mentoring like that now over the years. But it's just such an important part. And I know you do it with a ton of current players, retired players still. And again, you're one of my favorites. You know that. The Shark's always been one of my favorites. I mean, he's one of the best guys, most realist down to earth. And
he was really excited when he got a hold of me and told me you were coming on.
I love life, man. I tell you what, the things I've been through, because I think just to have an opportunity to sit and talk to somebody, I think, because I do a men's group on every Thursday at the Westin over in Las Colinas, and we sit there and we talk and we cry. But I have to go to these things, man, just to keep me. I want to be in a good place all the time, you know. And
well, you know, my grandma always said about crying, you have to get that stuff out so you can get the good stuff back in.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is the truth. I think a lot of us hold on to so much that when you're holding on to all that, you can't get the blessings in because you're holding all this.
Amen.
Actually, you talked about once you finally let it go and got it out, right? And you had that talk with Pastor Randy.
4 hours. 4 hours.
You know, you had that talk with Pastor Randy, and when you got off the phone, all that stuff got poured out, and then all the blessings started pouring in.
When I was hanging up with Pastor Randy, I'm like, we still good, bro? I mean, everything I just told you, we still good. I mean, no judging.
No.
So how can people, is the shark.com?
Yes, shark.org.
So .org. The golf tournament, if somebody, vehicle, I'm not saying anything, but
we'll
if
get
anybody
that
has a
handled.
vehicle.
We'll definitely go get that worked out.
How can people contribute, donate, follow, everything?
You can go on there and hit the button, and it'll pop up. It's going to show you something. So you got to go up in the top, those 3 little lines up there, and hit it. It's going to show you
the drop box.
Yeah, the drop box. It'll drop down, and you can start punching, and it shows you sponsorships. It shows you all about the organization, and I would need, you know, if you guys know somebody to help me to gift this vehicle.
Oh, you know, we know somebody.
I know you know somebody.
Yeah, we'll go find somebody.
I would love.
I'll
to
give
do,
him Rocky's car if I got to.
Because I don't like
Absolutely, it's right now.
I'm just kidding.
Because I like see a lot of times people, transparency is a key to a lot of people, especially in the economy stuff.
Right.
If people are giving their money, I want them to see exactly what is happening.
Right.
You know, I see what you're doing with the veterans, man. It's such a beautiful thing, man. I just love, and I like I want the people to see, manifest what they're doing. So this next year be bigger. Next year bigger. Dream big, pray bigger, and you know,
dream big but pray
Rocco,
bigger.
man, I feel you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
You know, and you gonna touch a lot of lives by what you've been through. I don't even know what you thought.
But you can feel me. You don't have to because you can feel it. I know.
Well, you know, the other thing we want to do is why don't we get put together? We can go help Shark out with capturing the day, do some interviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All the whole deal. Put a whole video together. He
You
put on
just
his
tell me where to be
website.
and when to
Okay,
be.
we'll
We
get
can
that
do that.
handled too.
Yeah,
we'll
take
do
care of
whatever
all
you
that.
need, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Now we got something on the way out.
Yeah, we're going to show you guys some video of the actual bam of Kenny Gant doing the shark. Kenny, brother, an hour literally. There is one subject that we could literally have gone over for 4 hours, and there's so many questions about the psychology of after and you know, changing careers. There's so much more to cover. But maybe we can get more studio time for you in here.
Man, let's do it.
Maybe we can make some things happen. Maybe the good Lord's listening right now and already doing some calculations.
Lord, I know He's putting it together.
Amen, brother. So Kenny Gant, ladies and gentlemen, on the program, we thank each and every one of you. Of course, RomikaDesigns.com and BuyVerve.com. We got the celebrity softball game coming up in November.
November 4th,
So,
baby.
November 4th. So keep an eye for all of that. BuyVerve.com, RomikaDesigns.com.
Shout out to my wife, Trevis Gant, and
Sweetest.
Sweetest.
and y'all take care. And we look forward. Thank you again.
Oh my God, thanks for coming, brother.
Appreciate
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I hope that the viewers are able to experience what I'm experiencing through this journey of life. And brother, we're just scratching the surface. And
Not
that's
even.
the
Yes.
most beautiful
Absolutely.
thing, man. We are just kicking off the ground right now. So, folks, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Kenny Gant, Tim Klund, Rocci Stucci, and of course, we got Ron Phillips back there, the master producer of producers. Ladies and gentlemen, from our family to yours, much love, much respect. And until next week, battlescars.com. Kenny Gant, TK, Rocci Stucci. Good night, everybody.
See you soon.
Night.